Temperature drops and ice begins to form, which is already happening in some parts of the KTAB viewing area and in Abilene. KTAB's Nick Bradshaw reporting tonight's top story.
All right, hello everyone, Nick Bradshaw here. Once again, we're keeping an eye on the roads and letting you know what's going on out here on Loop 322 as it goes. Stay home, stay inside, and be extremely careful. The temperature is definitely getting colder and colder, and that moisture on the road is definitely going to freeze. And so now is the time to just stay put if you can, and we'll continue to keep you up to date on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com, or the KTAB Plus app. So plenty of ways to get your information. We've got you covered. Stay home, be safe. That's the biggest thing that we can ask for. And so we'll continue to keep you up to date. In the meantime, Nick Bradshaw, bigcountryhomepage.com. We'll send it back to you at the studio.
All right. Thank you, Nick, for reporting outside and all the situations that are going on. Of course, TxDOT has been treating roads with brine to reduce ice buildup and keep them as safe as possible. Again, emphasizing that you should only be on the streets and highways if absolutely necessary. An Eastland man charged with capital murder for the shooting death of a peace officer 2.5 years ago has been found guilty and receiving a death sentence.
44-year-old Cody Douglas Pritchard on trial for shooting and killing Eastland County Deputy Sheriff David Bosecker. He was responding to a domestic disturbance call at a home between Cisco and Rising Star in July of 2023. Deputy Bosecker fatally shot just as he arrived at that scene. Pritchard was arrested shortly after the shooting. Bosecker was 57 years old, a Marine Corps veteran and a 21-year veteran of law enforcement, highly regarded with much support from agencies across the state. The trial for Pritchard lasting 2 weeks, the prosecution seeking the death penalty, and today the jury finding Pritchard guilty of capital murder. More details can be found on the KTAB website, bigcountryhomepage.com.
The newest jet bomber to be added to the Air Force fleet is the B-21 Raider. The first test models are flying right now, but it'll be several years before the jet will be seen at one of its home bases, Dyess. However, the U.S. House of Representatives has approved adding nearly $2 billion to the B-21's budget. Congressman Jody Arrington, who represents much of West Texas in Washington, D.C., and is chairman of the House Budget Committee, saying that, and I quote, "The first and most important job of the federal government is to provide for the common defense," end quote. The $1.9 billion helping keep the mission at Dyess for generations to come, and with federal dollars making sure our airmen at Dyess have the tools, resources, and support to continue being the tip of the spear of our nation's air power.
Well, the Abilene City Council is now considering a zoning change for a 24-hour daycare in the middle of a North Abilene neighborhood. The proposed site for the daycare would be at the corner of Vogel Street and Minter Lane, inside an existing building currently owned by Minter Lane Church of Christ. Zoning would need to be changed from residential to general commercial for a daycare. However, another option would be a rezoning to neighborhood retail, still allowing a daycare but less intensive. So if the childcare facility does not last in that location, future businesses only deemed appropriate for a neighborhood would be permitted.
And Sam joins us now, and Nick was reporting, telling me just a while ago that he could see the ice already forming on the bridge there at Loop 322.
Yeah, and it's going to go downhill in a hurry as we go through the overnight hours. We've already had significant moisture, up to a quarter of an inch of rain in some spots. Let's look at our numbers. We had officially so far 19 100ths, and we are going to get some more. But what's coming is the frozen precipitation, and that's going to cause problems. We'll talk about that in depth when we come back.
With coverage you can count on, Bob Bartlett, Joni McKinnon, and Chief Meteorologist Sam Nichols. This is KTAB News at 6. right now. Chief Meteorologist Sam Nichols, your weather authority.
Who is that handsome fellow? Oh, this is, want to encourage you to follow me on social media over this winter storm that we're having. There's my handles on X and Facebook Live. We will be doing those Facebook Lives throughout the entire weekend. And this afternoon we hit 19,000 followers on my Facebook page. So I want you to join us, and we'll keep you up to date, because I know there's a lot of stress and tension and anxiety with storms like this. We'll let you know what's going on up to the minute in real time. Winter storm warning until 6 o'clock on Sunday night for all of the big country, and that is related obviously to the precipitation, and then the extreme cold warning 6 o'clock Saturday night all the way through noon Monday. And wind chills during this period of time could be anywhere from 0 to -11. That's hard to wrap your head around, but those are dangerously frigid wind chills. Here's the satellite radar. All this moisture coming up southwest to the northeast. And you can see obviously the rain, and then the further north you go is that Arctic front pushed through. You got that Arctic air, and we're going to stop it and take a look at it here at on Max Live radar. All sorts of precipitation, and we have the freeze line that's just south of I-20. That's the line obviously between the liquid precipitation and the freezing rain. Freezing rain from about Cisco right now through Baird over towards Abilene, and then sleet is in purple. So your colors obviously green is rain, the salmon color is freezing rain, and then sleet is in the purple, and obviously white is snow. So a lot of variety, but the bottom line, all this is going to cover up the map as we get further along in the evening. I'll show you that in the future cast in a minute. As we look outside, temperatures have fallen to 31 degrees right now. It's pretty windy. Northerly winds at 15, gusting to 20, 25. Cold, Knox City 25, Haskell 27, Aspermont 26, while it's 42 in Brownwood. This will look a whole lot different as we get into the evening hours. It feels like 20 degrees though here in town because of those gusty winds. Wind chills in the teens, really from Highway 180 north, except for Sweetwater, sneaks in a 19-degree wind chill right now. As we look at the future cast, as we mentioned, as we go through the evening hours, you see it starting to bulge down by 6:30 or 7, and then by 10:30 all the way down to Comanche County and Goldthwaite, all the way over towards southern Coleman County, all the big country having to deal with the freezing rain, sleet, and the wintry mix. In the overnight hours, it's going to get pretty heavy from time to time. You may hear that tap, tap, tap outside, and that would be obviously the sleet and the freezing rain as we go into the early morning hours. But we get a little bit of a break starting about 5:30 or 6. And we'll just kind of sit there off and on, little sprinkles here and there. But by 5:30, it starts back up again, and we're certainly not going to warm up, and the roads will have deteriorated to where you need to stay home from now till about noon on Monday at the very earliest. As we look at Saturday night, you can start seeing the snow creeping down as the real cold air starts coming in. As we get into Sunday midnight, snow across our northern tier, and then snow in the early morning hours across the big country. Snow should be ending by about noon on Sunday, and we start clearing out, but the coldest air, this whole type of a event that we're having, will be Sunday night into Monday morning, because we'll be clear and cold going into Monday morning. Here's what we're looking at as far as accumulations. For snow, could see as much as 3 inches from about Stanford up towards Haskell, 1 to 2 inches for most of the big country, and just a trace down through the heartland. Ice accumulations, this is the real problem right here. The bright orange, it kind of horseshoes around, 1/4 inch accumulations of ice in this area, 1/2 inch including Abilene up to Lake Fort Phantom over towards Cisco, back down towards Winters and Ballinger and Coleman, 1/2 inch of ice accumulations, 3/10 down in the purple as you go into the heartland. The big concern, accumulations on power lines, trees, and of course your driveway and the streets and your patios as well. So it's going to be treacherous to even just walk outside, so be very careful. Sleet tonight, wintry precipitation, 18 overnight. Temperatures will fall to 26 by midnight, and gusty north winds. 21 tomorrow, cold. Wind chills 8 to 13 degrees in that wintry mix all day long, off and on. Northerly winds still very windy. Temperatures fall through the heartland to about 28 by midnight, but 20 overnight with freezing rain all across the heartland, 24 tomorrow. Very cold, northerly winds and that wintry mix, and we continue with that as we move through the weekend. 18 in the morning, but the big story, the wind chills will be frigid, single-digit wind chills. The winter storm warning all the way through Sunday, the extreme cold warning all the way through Monday. Look at that Monday morning temperature, 3. Could see a wind, you know, when you're at 3 degrees, it doesn't take very much wind to have a wind chill of -5 to -10. So the winds will have settled down by then, but my goodness, it's going to be cold.
Gee whiz. That's the worst it's been in a long time.
That's why these warnings are rare.
Yes, yes.
Right.
It's been a while.
And the tap, tap, tap is the sleet or the rain hitting your window. You're sure it's not somebody outside tapping?
It's my teeth chattering.
Oh, maybe the teeth chattering. You're right. You're right.
Thanks, Sam. Glad to
bet.
have you back.
You bet.
Coming up on KTAB News at 6. The Roscoe Plowboys having a season for the ages with 26 wins. We'll hear from them later in sports.
The Dow Industrials ending the week above 49,000, but it has been up and down by hundreds of points all week, losing 330 today. NASDAQ moving up to end the week, but only 76 points, 23,500. Oil taking bigger moves and moving up. Brent crude closing at nearly $66 a barrel, $1.87 higher, and $1.84 higher as WTI ends the week at $61.20 a barrel.
KTAB News at 6 continues.
So just like we've all been taking steps to prepare for this winter around our homes as the storm was coming in, well, the Abilene Zoo is preparing too.
That's right, running their hoses, covering water faucets, along with working to keep all of the animals safe and warm. KTAB digital anchor Brittany Paulette's taking us behind the scenes for Zoo's winter prep.
Yeah. It may be a slow day for visitors, but Abilene Zoo staff are staying busy. With cold temperatures settling in, crews are hard at work preparing the grounds and animals for winter weather.
Make sure we have extra heaters, we make sure we have heat lamps, and so we've been planning for this for the last week. We've been make sure that animals have straw, make sure they have just everything they need.
General Curator Robert Trejo took us behind the scenes with zoo caretakers.
So right here is our oldest, Jamie. She's very curious about what all we're doing.
While it's a tall order keeping the giraffes warm, they have it covered in the barn, which is well insulated and heated.
Come Monday, they're going to want to get out.
They're going to want to get out. They're going to want to stretch their legs.
All
However,
of us.
yes, very much so. They're like, I want to get out. I want to stretch my legs a little bit, but as you can see, they do have quite a bit of room to move around if they so choose. And then we have mats down on the floor if they choose to lay down.
Thanks to indoor enclosures now built into most exhibits at the zoo, animals can stay warm and visible to visitors. In years past, cold temperatures meant some animals had to be taken off exhibit.
Everybody kept asking, where's the sloth? Well, now you can actually see them inside on exhibit.
The Abilene Zoo is closed this weekend, but care continues for the animals and the grounds.
Staff here, we just make sure that they get their food, make sure they get their water. So these are the people behind the curtain, as you will. Yeah, they're still here working. They're still making sure the animals are taken care of.
Once the zoo reopens, you and the residents will be happy to see each other again. Reporting for BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Brittany Paletz.
Wow, thank you, Brittany. Abilene Zoo hoping to reopen on Monday, but of course that will depend on the weather. So what does it take to stretch a giraffe's legs?
A lot of room.
A lot of space.
Yeah.
But it looked like the bison were not too bothered by the weather.
Oh, everybody
They're
was
like-
having a great time. Family kinship there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. It's time for sports. The NFL playoffs continue on Sunday, and the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams are getting ready to meet for the second time this season.
This is BigCountryHomepage.com Sports with David Robinette.
Let's get started with some NFL talk. Seattle Seahawks are getting ready to take on the Los Angeles Rams for the third time this year. The Rams won the first meeting. Seattle took the second game in overtime. This rivalry continues to grow game after game. This time around, the Super Bowl is on the line, and Sam Darnold is ready to face the Rams.
They're a really good team. Obviously, it's the NFC Championship, so two best teams in the NFC going at it. So, yeah, it's a really good opportunity to just play good football. Have that kind of next opponent, next game mentality. Obviously we know the stakes. Kind of like I said last week, the stakes of the game. It's win or go home at this point, but we look at it as another game. We trust our process throughout the week and go about it that way.
The Seahawks and the Rams play on Sunday at 5. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game. The Patriots and Broncos meet at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Now to some high school basketball. 3 years ago, the Roscoe Plowboys were 8-20. Lots changed in that time. This year, the Plowboys only have one loss, and they're at the top of the district. Campbell drove over to Roscoe to check in on the boys behind the plow.
Roscoe boys basketball, 26-1, ranked 18th in the state and undefeated in district. But the Plowboys aren't focused on any of that.
Each game is a life of its own, so each game we just got to go out and do our best.
Every game's a different game, so we just go in with that mindset, you know, like this could be our last one and we want to play like it's our last one. If we just keep on doing that, we'll stay 100%.
We just take it one game at a time. We don't care about our record. We just want a win every single game.
We've gotten here, you know, we're at a point for a reason, so we just keep that up and keep every day we're working, so just keep working.
Only in year 2 with their head coach, Roscoe is trying to go undefeated in district for the second season in a row. His players say that coaching is the difference maker in their recent success.
Coach Best brings a different type of energy, and you know, when you have that in practice, I mean, it explains a lot of what the seasons look like.
One simple change the Plowboys have implemented in year 2, pregame.
We always start pregame with, he always has a paper, and really just a life lesson or even a lesson on the court.
The years have left their imprint on my hands and on my feet.
Whether it's listening to John Wooden recite his favorite poem or learning how to work through adversity, the Plowboys are all ears.
When they quote stuff back to you that you've talked about, usually that's a good thing. And so sometimes in games they'll bring up something that we've talked about in the past, and so then you know, like, those internalized, at least by one of them, and then the other go, oh yeah, I remember that.
The lesson that's impacted this season?
Adverse circumstances. We talk about, you know, no one wants to be down 10 with 2 minutes left in the game, but the only way you can have a 10-point comeback is to be in those adverse circumstances.
In Roscoe, Campbell Choate, Big Country Homepage Sports.
Thanks a lot, Campbell. That's the sports. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, David. I'm glad they got to cover sports that was indoors.
Yes,
today.
this is not a good day to be outdoors. Understand we're getting a little ice on the north side of Abilene.
We're hearing that, yes.
Raining ice. Victor Sotelo reporting.
Yes.
Sam has a final check of the forecast. What's going on right now? Ooh, that looks kind of scary, doesn't it?
And cold.
When we get back.
KTAB News at 6 continues.
All right, keep in mind the winter storm warnings that affect until 6 o'clock Sunday night across the area, and the extreme cold warning kicks in tomorrow night and goes through noon on Monday. Wind chills could be anywhere from single digits to -11. So this is a dangerous winter storm. Max Live radar showing the freezing rain already crossing Interstate 20 here in the Abilene area, and the sleet right behind it, and it's going to be taking over, and road conditions and such are going to deteriorate quickly tonight, and travel could be very hazardous, and even just walking across your sidewalk or driveway, please be very, very careful, because it's not going to get any better till early next week. 18 degrees in the morning, wind chills anywhere from 8 to 13 during the daytime tomorrow, and more sleet on the way in a wintry mix. 10 degrees Sunday morning, high of only 23. Snow should be moving in early Sunday morning, but in the pre-dawn hours, but should be over with by noon. And then the coldest temperature of this whole event will be on Monday morning, single digits, wind chills in the negative numbers.
And the school districts all saying they'll make the decision on Sunday about whether they open up on Monday, and it kind of looks like they won't, but that's up to their call.
And we have that going across our screen.
Yes, sure do.
All right, everyone, stay safe, stay warm. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.
We'll be back at 10 with all the news that hasn't happened yet. Good night.
Stay well, everybody.